define what a DMO is to someone who had no idea, like how would you describe what they do? Because I find that's a challenge for me to share it with students and other people. Like a DMO, what's that?
Are you asking for my 5-minute elevator speech that I have to give?
5 minutes, 40 seconds.
All right, welcome in. We're here for another episode of Ventures in Business Live. We're just checking out some things. So, Mandi, how are we doing today? What's new?
I just said it. Wait, Amani, did we just have it? We had a little tech glitch, huh? Was this a little like
we did, but
LinkedIn
no one could see that on the other side because we didn't go
cool.
live.
Oh, great. Look at
so
that.
no one would know.
No one would know until I just told them. But this is what it looks like, friends. This is building in public. This is being vulnerable. And this is how podcast works. Very forgiving medium. We appreciate it. It's been a busy morning. I've just been troubleshooting. I got a client in Lisbon right now, big group checked into a hotel, and there's boiling water and there's no cold water, and it's 95 degrees there. So I've been trying to track down like my global people, the hotel people, the general manager, just trying to make sure, like GMs out there, it's really important when you've got a maintenance issue to contact your group contact, like let them know right away so they can then communicate to the other 100 people what to do. So there's that. And then I had client arrive for a site inspection and their transportation went to a wrong terminal. So easy solves and happens in live events. These are all very normal things, 24-hour operations, but it just happened in the last hour. So it's just been a very busy, hour, but job security, if I can help solve the problem and make the client happy, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
What about you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. World Cup, lots of good World Cup games. I've spent a lot of time watching the World Cup, so it was good.
Were you surprised? Did you watch England last night? England, Mexico. How did you feel about that game?
That was a good game. I was surprised. I thought Mexico would take it because of the altitude and just their home crowd, but that was close. That was close. That was probably one of the best games of the tournament.
Did you watch the beginning when they sang each of their national anthems? Did you watch like early on or did?
No, I kind of caught it.
That was awesome. It was like overpowering both sides. So it was like, first of all the men knew all the words. They were singing, but then like the audience was singing. I was like, this is bigger and bolder than a Super Bowl. It was pretty inspiring. I mean,
especially because in Mexico at one of the most famous stadiums. And unfortunately, they lost. But that's the World Cup. Nothing is predictable. Even my favorite game was Cape Verde against Argentina, and that went to extra time. So I'm into it. Yeah, so tonight, Belgium versus the U.S. So
I know the U.S.
rooting
game.
for the U.S. So let's see what happens.
See what happens. My Croatians lost on Friday to Portugal.
Good game, though. Very good game.
It was a great game, and I believed Croatia was going to win. They had control of the ball, but they lost.
They took away the goal at the end. So, yes. Okay. Who do we have joining us today?
We have a great guest. I'm so excited to have her on. She is in the Smart Meetings Hall of Fame. She's a past Smart Woman honoree. She's a recent CEO of the Year DMO winner. She has a storied career of executive leadership in communications and destinations in PR. She's worked with awesome destinations such as Irvine, Milwaukee, Huntington Beach, Sonoma, and Santa Ana, Santa Ana. Her PR leadership knows no boundaries. And she also is one of the FEW Women CEO of DMO in the country. So like endless awards. I feel like she should have like a bunch of trophies behind her head. Yes. She's currently the president and CEO of Travel Santa Ana. Welcome to the show, Wendy Roberts.
All right. Round of applause here. There's Wendy on the screen.
Well, thank you so much, Mandi. That's quite the introduction.
Yeah,
we love the introduction.
Put it on your shoulder for when you have a bad day or something.
Yes, we love it. We love it. My question to you is, to first start off, If you would describe yourself in 30 seconds or less with what we could not find on your LinkedIn profile or your resume, who is Wendy?
Ooh, I am tenacious. I am loyal. I am determined, and I love adventure and to step out of my comfort zone.
Okay. All right. We love it. We love it. Mandi, why don't you start us off? Because I have my set of questions, but I think you'll be good at kind of building up till we get there.
Yeah. Well, you've really understood the depth of destinations and they're also different, whether they're coastal or they're Midwest or they're boutique or they're city. You've seen it all. So in your opinion, what makes a destination special? Like what are those 2 or 3 things that really make something a destination special?
I think every destination does have something to offer visitors. And for me personally, what I love to find when I go on a trip is what the locals enjoy. I love local restaurants, special restaurants, somewhere that I can shop and find handmade items that, artisans have made, whether it's a small painting or a pot. And then just the people, that vibe that you get from the community.
Yeah. Now I'm going to build on this because I was just up in your lovely city in Santa Ana, and I know how special it is. But for people that may not know Santa Ana, what makes Santa Ana special?
The people, for sure, and what they offer to those coming to visit. Our population is very diverse, with 78% being Latino and Hispanic. There's a sense of undeniable pride and passion for that city that they call home. And that resonates in everything that they share, whether it's their arts and culture, whether it's their food. We have over 200 murals throughout the city that highlight that history, that heritage, that passion.
Yeah, all those murals. The murals and the food hall alone, I was like, I can just spend all day in both of these places. It was so, and I found the merchants, I found the vendors to be so committed to service. Like everybody was like, do you have a napkin? Do you have a straw? I dropped something on the ground. Everyone was running after me to help. I was like, this is really cool. Like it just felt very special, very hospitable.
Well, a lot of them are family owned. So I think that, when you go in there, you're treated like family. So it's moms wanting to make sure that you've got a clean face, a full plate.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like that. I felt like you need to eat. You need to eat. Like it totally felt like that. Yeah.
So you come from the PR world. I'm very fascinated by this. Many people feel that PR is dying with all these tools. So I would love to open up the floor to you and get first your comment on that statement, which I know you would object to, and then I will have some follow-up questions because PR is such an interesting avenue.
So the question goes back to like AI is what you're referring to, and AI being a demise of public relations. Well, where's AI getting the content that it's regurgitating to the user? There has to be someone curating that content and telling that destination, that attraction, that hotel story. And that's where public relations comes in.
Okay. For people, young professionals who are in college, why is PR and how is PR a good avenue to get into the hospitality industry that might not initially be considered when it's usually all about operations and maybe sales?
Well, for an example, I started unbeknownst to me. I had no idea what a destination marketing organization was when I stepped into the PR manager role at Visit Milwaukee. I was very fortunate. I was looking for a job, and the director there took a chance on me. Having involved in the industry, I think it's important that someone going into PR and looking to get into destination marketing organization, that they immerse themselves within all departments of that organization. It's very easy for the different departments to work in silos, whether it's sales, whether it's public relations, and not to communicate, but to infiltrate that. Because I left Visit Milwaukee and really didn't immerse and know and fully understand a destination marketing organization until I was at a small DMO in Irvine, and I got to wear very many hats of being responsible, from operations to marketing to being involved in sales, that I truly got a feel for everything that a destination marketing organization does.
Interesting. What and how? Well, okay. So how did you find the position at Sonoma? Because you went from Milwaukee in the Midwest, you came out to the West Coast, which is a very big difference. How did you kind of get that opportunity? Because that's a big jump for someone who's like for their second major job in their career. How did that happen?
Yeah, it was one of those things. I remember it very vividly. It was a Labor Day weekend, 2005, and I was online. I don't know what I was doing, where I was online. And I came across the job in Sonoma, and I had been there a couple of years prior with the Midwest Travel Writers Association, a FAM trip. And I blindly applied and ended up getting the job. And it was, while it didn't work out the way that I had hoped, both professionally and personally, I had a lot of things going on. It did give me that kick in the butt, so to speak, to take that leap of faith and leave my home where I loved and grew up to taking that chance and moving across the country. And then, then it was from there, it was, okay, not next, now what?
All right. I love that. Okay, I have follow-ups, but go ahead, Mandi.
Well, what was about that moment? Because I think we all can relate to this, right? Like, we're comfortable. We've been, I'm from Ohio. We've been in the same place for a long time. Our support system is there. And then something pops up. Like, was it the wine? Was it the California? Were you feeling like stuck in Milwaukee? Like, were you ready for a leap? Like, what was that moment? What was that thing that made you even consider making such a change?
It was a little bit of a combination. I had been at Visit Milwaukee for almost 5 years at that time. And I had gone for a promotion and didn't get it. And they hired somebody without destination marketing experience to be my leader. And so I was feeling a little bit disappointed and discouraged in not getting that recognition. And then personally, there were some issues going on, challenges going on that I thought maybe this would be a fresh start. And I had been, like I said, to Sonoma a few years prior. So I knew the area and loved what it offered. And so it was kind of one of those things. What do I have got to lose?
I love it. And it's so brave. It's a big leap of faith. You have to be confident in yourself to make that move. It's really cool.
Confident and a little bit okay, I'll deal with it when it happens. And what's the worst that can happen? I get the job offer kind of attitude.
Yeah.
So I want to interrupt. How were you able to adjust from growing up and living in the Midwest to then living on the West Coast? Because there's different time zones, it's different kind of styles of people, from the smallest changes to the biggest changes. It's crazy. So how were you able to adjust?
Well, now that I've lived out here 19 years, my mom still has 2 clocks on her wall, one for Midwest and one for California. So she knows what time it is.
That's sweet.
But I think going into Sonoma County, I mean, it's a huge destination in its space wise, but it's a very small town. So having that Midwest friendly, personable kind of personality and openness to meeting people, I think that definitely helps.
Got it.
I mean, had I gone to New York, that might have been a different story. But going somewhere where it's small communities that make up the destination, I think that was helpful.
I relate to that because, I'm from Ohio and I've been in San Diego now 26 years, but my husband's from Santa Rosa. He's from Sonoma County. And there is a sense of the Midwest up there. Like it is small town. It's locally owned businesses. It does feel very community, like, even though it's a big destination, it does. So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
It might have been an easier transition than most people would think. Yeah. I want to build on something you just said about when you went to Irvine and you got to wear all the hats and you got to do all the different things. I think from a leadership standpoint, especially now, DMOs need to be really scrappy, right? You run on tight budgets. Everybody wears all these hats. How do you keep your team motivated and inspired? And then I've got one more follow-up to this one.
Well, I am very fortunate to have 2 team members that are extremely passionate about what they do. And they're very eager to make Santa Ana as successful and as relevant as possible. So I don't have to instill that. I think making sure that they're taken care of. Like you said, when you're a small DMO of 3, and we also have the smallest budget in Orange County, the expectations from our stakeholders and our hoteliers are no different than that of Anaheim, which has, a budget 10 times our size. Mm-hmm. So making sure that we don't get caught up in trying to do everything that the big DMOs are doing, and recognizing what our capabilities are, not only from a bandwidth, but also from a budgetary perspective. So, I tell them time and time again, I'd rather do 5 things really well than 10 things kind of half,
Yeah.
Yeah. Half measures. Yeah. How do you keep yourself motivated and inspired?
Sometimes that comes in a little bit of waves. I've been in this industry now, 27 years? And I love it. I love that every day is different. Like today I get to be on this show. Tomorrow I'll be talking about our budget for the remainder of the calendar year.
Fun.
The joy is contagious.
So there's some days where, you kind of maybe get challenged by a hotelier or a city official, and you're like, oh, is this worth it? And then you think about all that you've been able to do, that this position, that this industry has offered you, and how you've grown and the impact you've had, and it just kind of comes back. So just reflecting on all that I've been through, reflecting on what I love about this industry, helps me when I'm getting a little disenchanted.
Yeah, well, and reflection's everything, and we don't do it enough. So I'm glad to hear that's a part of your fabric, because I as women especially, we're so guilty. We're just charging forward. So reflecting is really everything. I love that.
If you were to define what a DMO is to someone who had no idea, how would you describe what they do? Because I find that's a challenge for me to share it with students and other people. Like, a DMO, what's that?
Are you asking for my 5-minute elevator speech that I have to give?
5 minutes, 40 seconds.
A destination marketing organization. We're tasked. Usually I give an example of if somebody lives in a big city, or I'll say you travel to a hotel, and when you look at your bill, you always see these taxes on the bottom. And you wonder where they're coming from. A destination marketing organization is tasked with bringing visitors to that destination to ultimately stay overnight, but enjoy the restaurants and the attractions and the events that are taking place in that city, which ultimately drives economic impact to support the residents.
Okay. Love it. Now, how have your membership and volunteerism within various associations helped your career, both personally and professionally? Because I think that's one of the most underrated ways that people can get visibility and grow their career.
The connections that I've made, the resources that I've brought to me. One of the things that I absolutely love about this industry is that while we're all ultimately competing, we're there to lend support, best practices, and resources. So I think being a part of Destinations International, One West Tourism Alliance, all of those organizations, associations, provides me with connections to my peers that are smarter than me, have been through more than me, and have valuable resources that they're willing to share and to lend to me. And then, like I said, just also going through opportunities to volunteer. When you're asked to be a mentor to someone or be a first timer to someone who's new to the Destination International and they're coming to the annual conference, it's again an opportunity to reflect on what you've learned and what you gained from that. So you're telling that person what you love about Destinations International, but it's reassuring yourself what you love about it.
What's next for both the destination, Santa Ana, as well as for you, Wendy?
For Travel Santa Ana, we started this organization. I was the first employee hired in August of 2021. Santa Ana had no tourism promotion, no sales. And my team and I have really built from the ground. I say foundation, I'm talking payroll to marketing programs and sales initiatives and so forth. So I really feel like 2026 and beyond is an opportunity for us to take everything that we've learned in the past 4 years and developed over the past 4 years and actually apply them and grow the destination and have an impact. Some of the things that we've been doing before, we didn't have a basis. So it was, the analogy of throwing things on the wall and seeing what sticks. For me, you're asked that kind of a lot in the industry. And if you had asked me when I was in my 30s what I wanted, where I would be in 5 years, it was always you wanted to go somewhere else. You had to be at that next level. One could expect me to say, oh, I strive to be at a destination marketing organization with a $40 million budget. One, I just bought a house, so I'm not leaving the area I currently live in anytime soon. My husband would not be happy about that. But I think if I'm being continually challenged and given the opportunities to grow professionally, I think it's okay. I admire those that have stayed within their destination marketing organizations for 10, 15, 20 years, because this can be a very volatile environment from stakeholders. And so for them to navigate those challenges and stay relevant, I think is admirable. So I would hope to stay and be relevant, not stay and rest on my laurels, but stay and grow with the destination and face the challenges.
Hi, friends. Guess what? Did you know that when you click subscribe, you just hit it. It's such a fast little tip. Tap, tap, tap. You hit subscribe for our podcast, either on YouTube or on the platform that you're listening on. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. I know a lot of times when we think subscribe, it costs something, but it doesn't. And it helps us so much because when you subscribe, we show up in more people's feeds. And when we show up in more people's feeds, we get to help more people have greater and better adventures in business. So if you can hit subscribe on the platform that you're watching or on YouTube, that will help us, but it also helps so many more people. The other fun thing is that when you hit subscribe, then our next episode automatically shows up in your feed and you don't have to search for us anymore. So can you do us a solid? Hit subscribe and join our Adventures in Business movement. Thank you. I want to hang here for a second because you bring up a really good point about the environment. Like sometimes the environment is exciting and there's all these changes and that can be challenging from a growth perspective. And sometimes it can be volatile, right? Like we look at what happened this weekend in Newport Beach, or we think about what's happening in some different destinations globally. I don't think a lot of people realize like what that does to a destination when the wrong news is out there or the wrong media is out there. And it can impact, like it has an economic impact on an awesome destination. So in your role, like how have you handled the tides as they've turned when there's something volatile or maybe there isn't the right information out there about the destination? Like, is there a crisis management element that you're working with, or is there a resilience lesson in there that we all can gain from that kind of thing? Like, I just think this is happening unnecessarily to more and more destinations. And I'm just curious what your take is on that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some type of crisis plan. Whether it's, I know destination organizations who are, dealing with the fires that happen across the country, especially in the Western states. An example, I mean, you have to be fluid and not necessarily knee-jerk reaction. I'm not a knee-jerk reaction person. I'm very analytical. I need facts. I need to know, like, what figure out our next step before just reacting. And so just an example, last June, Santa Ana is the governmental hub for Orange County. So we have a federal courthouse. And this is at the peak of ICE activity throughout Southern California and elsewhere. And the National Guard was sent in, not because any of issues happening necessarily in Santa Ana, but because we had the federal building and they were sent there by the government, national government, to protect the federal building. So there was a lot of things going on. And rather than, because I knew that this was not isolated to Santa Ana, other cities were dealing with this. Rather than call attention, we just kind of paused our social media. We were there to answer questions if anyone did, like a meeting planner, have any concerns or questions. But we just paused our social media in respect to what our residents were going through, what our community was going through.
That's smart. I think a lot of people would react to that, or they would try and spin it or whatever. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just hit pause. Just take a breathe. You literally took a breather. I think that's so smart.
I mean, this too shall pass, unfortunately. And what was I, as a destination marketing leader, going to say? I mean, this was very political. Of course, we're compassionate and feel for our local residents who are being impacted by it, but that's not our platform.
Yeah. What do you say to meeting planners out there who, because I know my clients, they'll call me like when stuff was happening in Mexico, they're like, Mandi, what do you know? And I'm on the phone with the Mexican tourism border. Like stuff was happening in Venezuela, and I had a program arriving in Aruba, and there was airspace issues. And so I'm on the phone with Aruba like that night, like a Sunday night before people arrive on Tuesday, right? I know what I do on my end, but what do you say to meeting planners who may not have the research? Maybe they don't have a Mandi, or maybe they're new meeting planners and they see stuff like this. Like, what advice do you have for them aside from, and obviously take a beat is a great piece of advice, but but what advice do you have for meeting planners if they were to see something about your city or cities that you love that may inhibit how they interact with your city?
Well, I think we're all kind of learning that. I mean, look at how San Francisco has now resurrected themselves and has come back after all of the negative press, and whether, there's a truth to that or it was sensationalized at certain levels, they're making so just being consistent in the messaging and being proactive. If, we have something going on and there's a group coming in and what they're going to be doing is going to be impacted by that situation or that issue, finding an alternative, letting them know, giving them choices as to what their options are. But if someone's coming in, a month from now, just keeping those lines of communication open. And, this is, again, the incident that I'm talking about was isolated to downtown. It wasn't going into the areas where the hotels are located. So again, just communicating and being truthful to an extent. You don't want to, tell all the dirty secrets, but being truthful.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, certainly you don't want to bring anyone into your destination and have something terrible happen.
No, yeah. Hey, friends. How many times have you read a boring business book that tells you about the same tactics over and over and over again? Get comfortable at being uncomfortable. Don't forget to manage your time. All these silly things that we know, right? When you read my book, Sales Tales, The Hustle, Humor, and Lessons of a Life in Sales, I promise you, there's nothing boring about it. It goes in the order of a standard sale, from prospecting all the way through asking for the sale. And it's hilarious stories and statistics that will help you grow your business, relate to the actual business of being an entrepreneur or a salesperson, and it will give you practical, tactical, digestible snacks that you can apply immediately after reading. So head over to wherever you buy your books and look for Mandi Graziano, Sales Tales, The Hustle, Humor, and Lessons from a Life in Sales. Can't wait to hear what you think.
Now it's the time where we flip the script and we let you ask both myself and Mandi any question you would like. So, who do you want to ask the question to first, and what is said question? Nothing is off limits, and we await the question.
Well, I've had the privilege to be a part of Mandi's training sessions, so I've heard some of her fun little stories. But Mandi, we used to play this game when we were in public relations, and we'd get together, and it was, what was the worst travel writer who came onto a fam tour, and what did they do? Without naming names.
Oh, that's fun.
What's the worst meeting planner experience you've ever had?
Oh God, I have so many. But the first one that comes to mind, and I'm not going to say a name.
No, definitely.
The first one that comes to mind is a long. It was a client of mine actually, and it was a client who, when we first started working together, was great. But something happened over the years. I don't know if there were personal things happen. I'm not sure if there were substance abuse things happening, but some mental tides had turned to where every time we would go on a site inspection, this person would panic and lose something. And it was like panicked phone calls at like 3 a.m. when I'm in my room that I have to go to security and make sure like her laptop isn't missing, and it was actually just in her bag the whole time. Or it was like she would always overestimate her numbers, even though we had history. She was like secretly calling the hotel and increasing her numbers without an addendum. And, shame on the hotels. The hotels were actually doing it and they weren't including me. That's a whole other story for another time when you just leave the third party out. Because I would never allow somebody to increase their numbers if you don't have the history to support it. And then she would get an attrition. Then I'd have to fight the attrition. I'm just thinking like, it was somebody that like would call at all hours of the night. And at one point, my husband's like, you got to get rid of this client. Like, this is just not worth it. But I will say one time we were landing for a site inspection, and I think her program was like a one part of the year, but the site inspection was another part of the year. So there wasn't any like weather issues. But when we landed, it was raining a little bit. And she started sobbing and like hyperventilating, like, if it's like this for my meeting, we can't have it happen. I'm like frantically pulling up Old Farmer's Almanac weather statistics and being like, listen, it's not going to be like, we're not even traveling the same time of year. This is actually the rainy season. You knew it was the rainy season. Like, we let you know, everybody let you know. So it was like the panicking and the stress and the substance and the obsessions, like, that was probably the worst, but it was over a long period of time. And eventually I fired this person, which was another life lesson in running a business as well. But I think that, I had hotels calling me about this person. I had people within this person's own company calling me about this. It was a lot. Like, and it was, add them all up. It's more than a story. It's a nightmare. I'll add it up. Yeah. But we all have those, right?
Yeah. I had a travel writer disappear on me because he was drinking.
Oh no, the old Houdini routine. Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
And you just pray that they don't end up in the local river.
Yeah.
You can't find them.
Well, being in San Diego, working at hotels or working at venues before I was on the meeting planner side, I can't tell you how many attendees went missing because they went to Tijuana overnight. They they'd be fun after the meeting, and they go to Tijuana and they did have fun, and they were missing not because they were stuck in Tijuana, but because they like overslept or they couldn't get over the border. Like, they lost their ID. Some sort of shenanigans had happened. So like, that's sort of a notorious, like, from the old days. It doesn't happen anymore, but from the old days of like doing meetings in San Diego.
Amani, the question was asked to me about what qualities of a destination matter. What's your favorite destination and why?
Ooh, my favorite destination. Ooh, so I'm a fan of Hawaii because of the water, how well they take care of everyone, Maui specifically, and it's just like dreamy over there. And the food, the cuisine, the opportunities for different kind of entertainment, and the beaches. So that's kind of my favorite destination. I'm trying to think of another one to compare to. I love music, so any music cities I love because the way to catch live music that could be local, like in Nashville, like in LA, like in New York. And then I grew up in DC, so of course I'm partial to that area, but that, and then I'll say I love Miami because I lived there before and it's got lots of culture and beaches and music. So I gave you a bunch of answers, but those are my favorite.
All right.
Yes. Now, I want to go back before. This is my final question, then I'll let Mandi close it out. But I want to go back. And how do you pronounce it? University of Wisconsin? Is it Oshkosh? How do you say that?
Oshkosh.
Oshkosh. Okay.
Like the bib overhauls.
Yes. I got it. Like
Oshkosh, my
Oshkosh.
gosh.
Okay. Oshkosh. So we're gonna go to Oshkosh right as you're finishing school. We're gonna meet up at Artie and Ed's. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna meet up at Artie and Ed's, and you're gonna meet your younger self. What advice would you give her based on everything you've experienced so far in life, personally and professionally?
Trust the journey and trust your gut. I like I said earlier in the interview, I'm loyal and I'm loyal to a fault. And sometimes I stuck in situations because I felt this loyalty that I was responsible for. And trust the journey. I think there's been times now, one could say that if I didn't stress or do everything that I had done in that moment because of the stress and the, overwhelming feeling that things weren't going to work out, that things would have actually gone the same trajectory. But I think I truly am a believer of everything happens for a reason and I'm where I'm supposed to be. So yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self. Trust your gut and trust your journey.
Love it. Mandi, over to you.
Power of the intuition. I love that. What is Arnie and Ed's? What is Arnie and Ed's?
So that's a famous restaurant that's been in Oshkosh for over 76 years.
Wendy, do you have an experience there?
No, it must have been a very local restaurant that college kids. I hung out at Rocky Rococo's Pizza, local corn dog, Hungry's, a local corn dog basket place, and bars. So
I feel like we had the same college experience. Yeah. I want to know, I have two final questions. You've said this before, and I want to hear it from your mouth is, why is it important to be a tourist in your own backyard?
Why is it so? You get an appreciation of what your city has to offer, what your community has to offer. I mean, so many times, this has been a long time. As long as I've been in the industry, we've been talking about this. When you have visitors coming in to stay with you or to spend time with you, the first thing you do is you take them to the bigger attractions, Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, or elsewhere. And it's like being in your own community and discovering those things like 4th Street Market or McFadden Public Market or, Art Walk, the second Saturday or first Saturdays of every month with the free galleries. While you might take it for advantage or take it for granted, it's out there. Like, I think we all kind of get into our little habits and we go to our favorite restaurants or we hang out with friends and we go and explore just like a small radius from our home. It's important to get out there and see what everything is going on.
I agree. And I think we learn too, because like you said, you get in your habits and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, when did that place open up? Or when did that street become a street? Or when does this stop sign come into being? I do agree with that, being a tourist in your own backyard. I love that idea that you really push, you evangelize for. It's really cool.
Yeah.
You've spent a lot of time with us. This is awesome. And we really appreciate it. How can we support you and how can we lift you up with anything that you have right now?
Well, right now, like a lot of destinations, we have fabulous food and we have a culinary passport that highlights the different ethnicities that make up our community. And there's a different restaurant that's reflective of that diversity. And we tell the story not only about the restaurant, whether it's family owned, women owned, but we have a must-try dish on the menu and tell that story as well. So if you're in Santa Ana or in the Orange County, SoCal area, please visit us and go to one of our many wonderful restaurants. We also have a michelada guide for those who aren't familiar with a michelada. It's a traditional beer and juice, lime juice, salt, tomato juice concoction. It's like the Mexican version of a Bloody Mary, only better. We have a guide to that as well, from mocktails to flights of those. So yeah, check out our local dining scene. Check out Art Walk, like I said, for Saturdays of every month. Get out and explore beyond what you're familiar with in Orange County.
I love that. I like the swap too. I think people are like, they think of like Anaheim or Irvine, but they don't, sometimes Santa Ana doesn't come to the mind right away. And then you get into that culture. You're like, whoa, I love it here. I love the art and I love the food. And it's so close to all, you can hit all of them, right? Like it's just, it's so close. Yeah.
I think anyone coming, Orange County is a desirable destination in and of itself. And so most visitors come into the destination, they're going to go to the beach. They may go to, one of the bigger attractions and shopping and whatnot, but to get out and explore that lesser known city of Santa Ana, it's different. And when I say different, it's very different than anywhere else in Orange County. It has this authenticity to it. Mm-hmm. It's very bright, vibrant, from the murals to the people to just the vibe that you get.
Totally agree.
Well, Wendy, thank you very much for being a leader in our industry and continuing to give back and representing DMOs to the highest, utmost fashion. And we just appreciate you being on our podcast and sharing your wisdom and expertise.
Thank you, Amani. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to put you in the green room, so stay in the green room, and we'll give you a round of applause. So
thanks for being here, Wendy. It's always awesome talking to you.
Yes. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Round of applause.
We did it.
Yeah. Okay, Mandi, another episode is done. Thank you very much to Wendy Roberts. Make sure she has my same last name, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I know, Double Roberts.
Yes. If you're watching or listening, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Share with a friend. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out our new series, Flip the Script. And with that, anything else to share, Mandi?
No, I want to take a page out of Oprah's book, though. I just was listening to her podcast this weekend. She said, some people think when you say subscribe that it costs something. It's free. And it really helps the podcast, and it helps put the podcast in more people's feeds. But it also helps you not have to search for us, because when you click subscribe, our next episode automatically shows up in your feed. So that's what Opes told me this weekend. I'm going to pass that on to everybody else.
Oh, great advice. Thank you, Opes. Yeah. Okay, Oprah. Appreciate it. All right. And with that, we will see you next time for another episode. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Peace out.